So I have read in books. There's two that I'm thinking of specifically. One is an amazing Zen book written by Angelo DeLullo. He's on YouTube. He's a pretty well-known Zen guy and does a lot of really amazing work. And his book is one of the best that I've ever read on the subject. And one of my favorite parts in it is at the beginning, it says something along the lines of, if you can simply feel your body, the rest of this book is unnecessary. And that has made a lot of sense to me in different ways at different times. There's another guy, Lester Levinson, who is now passed, and he used to say something along the same lines, which was that what he learned through his own personal experience, because this guy he was given months to live at one point, had many terrible, chronic, impossible health issues that he healed from in his 30s as he had his opening up to his version of wisdom and truth, and then lived to be like 85 or 90. And he said that the secret to healing and to even making pain go away through healing it was to simply feel what was going on fully. And I've heard both of those things, and I trust these guys a lot. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it kind of works, and then a lot of times, and in times where I really, really need it to work, it doesn't seem to work. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't think that they were lying. And so if they're coming from a place where what they're talking about is objective, this is how reality works for both of us, and if you do it in the same way that I'm doing it, it will work for you in the same way it works for me. And there's a bit of a barrier of me talking about it, and then the way that you understand those words and internalize the idea and attempt to embody what it suggests. And all of those gaps equate to sometimes getting it right, sometimes sort of getting it, and then sometimes not at all. And I think I know how to bypass that gap, because like with everything in this context of self-knowing and spirituality, whatever that means to you, the gap, the delay, the error, the distortion is always because of our mind. And when I say mind, I mean our conceptual model that we use to interpret things, and so we can intellectualize them and create what seems like a coherent and logical narrative about everything, right? The narrative of okay, what am I? I'm me in a body that has cells made of atoms, and this is how it all functions. And so because of that model, here's how I'm going to behave to best try to fulfill my desires and objectives based on that understanding. And I do my best to pay attention to feedback and stay open and learn, so that I can update that model to get better at acting according to reality. And that whole process obviously gets in the way, because somebody tells me, well, just feel your body and that will engage a healing process at the deepest level. And so then I go through all of my layers of interpretation and understanding, and I sort of make a guess at what it really means to feel my body. And so I do that to some extent. And if I'm not getting the result that they're telling me, either what they're telling me is bullshit or the way I'm doing it is a little bit bullshit. And, there's got to be an adjustment. And in this case, I think that the adjustment is not that what they are saying is bullshit, because I have experienced it myself, and I'm sure you have too, honestly, or will soon if this is interesting to you. Okay, so getting back on track with the mind, our adherence to what our thoughts and the subtle layers of feeling and perspective and attitude that are all also part of this mind concept layer, intermediary between awareness and action, that has its use, and it's not useful here because it's getting in the way, because it's causing us to believe that what we are is something in particular that we can describe, case closed. And so, and part of what's sticky there in the belief in the description being true is that we kind of paste that thought process onto the thing it's describing, as if it were a part of what it's describing, or even as if it were what it's describing. And so instead of feeling my body, which is just me, blank, I can't say what I am at this level of subjective direct experience. And so if I try to feel my body, and then my mind starts running all of its programs of what is the body, oh, I feel this in my shoulder and this in the back of my neck, and that's because of the tension, because of this, and there's all of this information that is included in the identification of what I am in the context of my body and how it feels right now, and all of the thoughts and feelings and desires and things that come up with that. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm in pain. Oh, that feels good. Oh, I'm bored. Oh, what about my plans tomorrow? Whatever, right? And it's not that there's anything wrong with those thoughts happening. It's that when we try to connect our sense of intimacy and empathy and just deep, direct, experiential selfness to our body, and we're not aware of that, all of those thoughts are not it. They are not what we are. They are just what they are, which, is a piece of the field of experience that is you, because you are just, at the end of the day, your experience. And so every extension or seeming extension inward and outward of experience is just as much you as any other part of it, even though you're operating from a character that is just the name that you give your body, right? And so I hope this is clear, because I'm going to move on from that's a pretty long explanation of what not to do and why, right? So don't feel your thoughts as if they were you. What you are is going to be there in how it feels, whether or not you know anything about it or not, whether or not your mind is saying anything about it or not. So in that way, there is no connection between thoughts and anything else. They are just something that's happening. Just like there is no connection in my ability to feel the tree or my shoe. They're connected in that they're both equally a part of this experience, and that's pretty much it. I can't interact with the tree by prioritizing my shoe. It wouldn't make sense. But if my shoe is always saying, I'm the tree, and so then I want to feel the tree and I grab the shoe, it's gonna not make sense, right? And so again, same principle here. And so if I want it to make sense, we start with, okay, everything in my experience is my consciousness creating or simulating or being this experience. And so if I can connect to the feeling of everything as simply consciousness or experience, like these are just words that basically cover the whole thing, right? Everything I see, feel, think, taste, touch, hear, imagine, it's all included because all of it has to appear within this field of what we're calling consciousness, which is just a word, just trying to be a catch-all for any phenomenon that is apparently happening. And to let consciousness feel all experience at once in the sort of implicit felt recognition that the experience itself is equal to consciousness, because I can be conscious of the feeling of my body, and I can be conscious of the feeling of a thought or the feeling of what I see, and it all is the same like material in how it's all the same function of there being an experience that is known. And from that like layer of acknowledgement of the connection that's already there, and then sort of turning up the dial on just letting basically everything feel itself. Pain already feels itself. My hand is already aware of itself. The awareness of my hand is inside my hand. It's not in my head looking at my hand, right? And so it's already distributed throughout everything. There is no center point that is capturing or projecting or receiving the experience. Now, within the experience, my eyes are receiving light. Fair. But let's say the hallucination of the experience that our brains create based on all the data input, that hallucination doesn't have a projector shining it out. It's just happening. And every point of that is self-aware in that way. It's a self-receptive signal, basically. So I'm just trying to describe this in a way that, like, this is how it works for me, description-wise, to connect to it in a way where then as I kind of turn up the dial, rest in it, like brighten my implicit awareness, acknowledgement of that, I can feel the feedback, and it feels light and blissful and relieving and right. So I hope that this helps you click into the same. And it's nice because it's technically already happening, and it's just this like DIY of like, what does this actually mean for me to find my own way into seeing that this is the case, and then also being able to feel that it is the case, because I'm not trying to do something else, like feel or go through my thoughts about it to then try to get to it, because that's just not what it is, because it's already the case. And so all of that aside, you can just let go of all thoughts and concepts, and that works too, and also a lot better. But you know, if you're like me, sometimes you kind of have to like solve the Rubik's Cube before you throw it out and look around at reality. So that is a way that I do it. It is not going to be the way that you do it, but maybe this will make sense enough that you find your way into doing it. And you already are doing it, and maybe that sounds like a contradiction or silly, but if you can take that and go, okay, if it is the case that I am already pristinely, exquisitely awake and aware of everything, where in my experience can I recognize that, oh shit, that actually is true? And maybe start there and take it from there, and just kind of see where it takes you. This isn't like there's a right and wrong way to get it, and now you got it and you did the thing that I'm talking about successfully. It's just, we can explore the nature of experience in a way that brings relief to the part of us that is accidentally causing unnecessary stress, basically. Okay.